Hi folks, this video is being made for Irvine Valley College faculty, specifically how to walk you through how to do LibreText step by step. There are lots of written instructions, but some of y'all would prefer a walkthrough video. So I'm literally just starting with Google because that's where a lot of y'all are going to start. So if you just type in IVC library, I want you guys to know where we have all kinds of good guides that you can go to, okay? So if you go down here, you go to research guides, and you just go to LibGuides. We have a do-it-yourself LibGuide under OER that will have every single link. Everything that I'm going to go through today will be found right here under IVC DIY faculty resources. So this has everything faculty need to know about OER. And every step I'm going to cover today is under Use LibreText Remixer Editing and Publishing. And this video will also go on this page. So if you ever get confused, I recommend coming back to this page. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to libretext.org. All right. Now, I already have an account. So the problem is for you all, you're going to need to sign in. Whenever that happens, what you're going to do, okay, is you're going to go to the login and register link, and then if it asks you to put in a bio to be registered as an instructor, you're going to put in the staff directory link, okay? So we'll open this in a new page, open in a new tab, okay? So this would be the link that you would put in so you could find yourself, right? And as long as they can prove that it's you, they will verify you as an instructor. So just like make an account with anything, you're going to click here, follow the steps, okay, and get verified as an instructor. Once you do that, you're always going to click on the rocket. You get lost, you're going to click on the rocket. Over on the right-hand side here, this is where you can see that I'm a verified instructor. You see that in green. Okay, now you do not have to be logged in to look at the libraries, to browse the libraries. And the number one thing I always tell faculty is that LibreText is a massive, massive toolbox filled with tools for you. Lots and lots of different tools. Each of these at the top are different tools for you. Adapt is a homework system. The Commons is where you can search for a lot of content. The number one that you're going to use the most is Conductor, and that's the one we're going to go over today. But before you really jump into Conductor, and this is what it'll say on my homepage of the Do-It-Yourself LibGuide, you need to have a base book picked out. So I would just start building a book from scratch, because to be quite honest, that is extremely labor intensive, and for most courses across the world, that's not necessary. There's so much content out there. So I recommend, while you're waiting to become a verified instructor, browse through the libraries. Look in your library, try a couple Google searches, see what you come up with, talk to an OER librarian about what resources are out there already that you can build on. Once you do that, you're going to go to the Conductor. Anytime you forget what you're doing, you're going to go to the Conductor. Now, I have a whole bunch of projects in here because I have been doing a lot of OER for a long time. For you, this page will look pretty simple. You're going to go up to this huge green button at the top that says Create a Conductor Project. You should only have this option if you are also over here on the left-hand side a verified instructor. If you are not a verified instructor, right here, Instruct Verification Request. Click through that. When it asks for a bio link, just put in the directory and you're good to go. All right, once you're a verified instructor, you're going to click Create Conductor Page, and you're going to title it Demo Book. Demo Book on Humanities. All right, it's private, and I hit Create Book, Create Project. Now, this did not create the book, it just created the project page, and this is the page you're going to come back to the most. Now we're going to create the book. On the far left side, you're going to click the green button saying Create Book. This is the most important part. Make sure you choose the right library, as this is hard to change after. If you don't know what you're under, try Googling your topic and LibreText, and whatever it comes up after, that's going to be your library. I'll give you an example of that. If I go here and I go to Library Services and LibreText, okay, you can see that for whatever book this is, it's being housed in the Humanities Library. Okay, so that's how you would know. So you choose the library's book. I'm going to choose the title of my book. Title, maybe you change it, maybe you keep it the same as your project title. Okay, and then you hit create. All right, and sometimes it takes a couple minutes. All right, so that's what this looks like now. Now over here, instead of a create book, you have these three big things. You're going to go to these a lot. And up here across the top, you have a lot of options. All right, say you want to add multiple people to your team. That would be under manage team. If you want to add other people, I strongly recommend that you add me as a member, not as a lead. A lead can add or remove people, but a member will be able to help you out. So if I am your OER librarian, it's going to be really easy. If you add me as a team member, I can help you out. If you are working on this project as part of a team with other faculty, you can add them in this way as well. All right, now the first thing you're going to want to do is open the project link. And I want to warn y'all, this is what happens 99% of the time. Nothing went wrong. You're not in trouble. It just means that when we went to the humanities library, I wasn't already logged in. So it's asking me to log in. So log in again. I have it saved, but I'm going to have to go to the workspace to log in. And what happens 99% of the time is it's not going to take you to your book. It's going to take you to the random huge humanities page. So you're going to use these tabs up here at the very top a lot. It's always going to open a tab in the one right next. So you're always just going to want to click on the tab right to the left. And then you're just going to literally relaunch it. Open the project link. And this time you'll see it's going to open it up and you're going to see this is my demo book for humanities. They always are the same, a front matter, a back matter, and one chapter. Now I strongly, strongly recommend that you do not touch the front matter or the back matter, okay? And as we most know, if you have a 16 or 18 week course, you don't just want a single chapter, okay? And it's blank, right? There's nothing in it. It's literally just a blank book right now. It's just a big bucket filled with stuff for you. So you have two options from here. Number one, you can find a book that you really like, such as an OpenStax book, and you can bring the entire book in. Or you can use a book that you love somewhere out there that has a great table of contents. Now, titles and table of contents, the way information is organized, cannot be copyrighted. So if you want to build a book in the exact same structure or style as a book that's already out there, you can. We might change the titles a little bit or the language a little bit, but you can organize information however you want. So this comes down to a lot of planning and prep work ahead of time. Or if you're like, Rachel, you know what, I like the OpenStax book. Let's pull in an entire book and tell me how to edit it. Once we have this open, you're going to go back to the conductor page, and this time you're going to launch this one, the OER Remixer. Now, the reason I do this in this order, remember when we clicked on the first one and it made us log in? It's going to do the same thing here if you don't log in first. So as you can see up here in the left-hand corner, you see it says Library, the Humanities Library. If I wasn't logged in, this box right here wouldn't be there, and I wouldn't have access to the remixer. And if so, you would go back here, you'd log in, come back here, and you'd relaunch it, okay? It happens all the time. You're going to use these tabs a lot up here. You're going to be going back and forth a lot. So once you're in the remixer, this is by far the most powerful tool. This is by far the thing that will save you the most time. As someone who has built books, literally copying and pasting Creative Commons content into a Word doc and then having to double check the attributions, this is the tool that seems really confusing but will literally save you hundreds of hours of work. So right now, we're going to find an OpenStax book. So say we go to OpenStax. OpenStax, I know they have a history book, okay? So they have a US history book. So say I'm teaching US history and I'm like, it's good, but I want to add more to it. There's some problems with it. I don't really like it. OpenStax is a publisher, but you can't edit anything on OpenStax. But Libretexts, they have all of the books harvested here. So all you have to do is go into bookshelves and you go to history, okay? And we go to national history. And oh my stars and garters, right here is the US History OpenStax textbook. And if I'm like, you know what, I like all of their chapters, all of them. All you're going to do, click and drag. For each of these click and drags, okay, that just saved you 20 hours worth of work. Next one, 30 hours worth of work. Next one, 100 hours worth of work. okay? You can click and drag as many as you want over. If you love the whole book, I recommend you grab the entire book. For the sake of this video, I'm only going to do these 4 chapters, but you could literally click and drag the entire book. Now, I don't recommend grabbing from the book level because then you're going to have it indented and you'd all be under one chapter, and you don't want that. You want separate chapters. And then say this first chapter, we want to label this about this book. I often do that, and it becomes the last chapter, about this book. And I hit save edits. Okay. The other really beautiful thing about this remixer, say at some point you want one of these to be in a slightly different order, you're literally just going to click and drag it, and it automatically does a renumbering for you. That in and of itself will save you hundreds of hours later if you decide to change things up a little bit or anybody else wants to use your content. So once you have it the way you like it, say I only like the first 4 chapters of this book and then I'm going to choose other books, right? You hit save to server. This just brought you to the save server page. You haven't saved anything yet. Then you hit save to server again, and you watch this progress right here. While this is going, I strongly recommend that you do not do anything else on different tabs. Just watch it go and be grateful that this software exists. Because again, I was someone who worked with people doing OER in Word documents where they were copying and pasting from Creative Commons licensed content into another Word doc, double checking that the licensings could be remixed. It was a mess. Once it's done and everything's green, you have 2 options. You can go right down here in the dark blue panel where it says your new text will be available here, or you can go to revise and go back to where we just were to do more pull-in of more chapters. So I'm going to show you what it looks like once it's been updated. So now our demo book, we have these chapters right here, and then we have an empty about this book page. Ta-da! All right, this right here was probably easy 30 to 75 hours worth of just copy pasting. And the really beautiful thing is it didn't just copy the text. It copies images. It copies alt text. It copies everything for you. Some of them have really awesome, fun exercises, all of those things. And it copies all of it for you in one beautiful fail swoop. So say you look at this and you're like, okay, I like it. It's my book, but the whole point of this is I need to update it. It has some weird typos. Maybe it has a lens that you don't like. Maybe you want to add some different examples. Your first idea is always going to be to go up here to this dark gray panel and hit edit and watch what happens, because this happens every time and people panic. Okay? Oh no, the content's not there. What happened? Don't click on this. This is going to take you back to the original, so don't click on this. All this means is your content is still live on OpenStax. Okay? What this means is if OpenStax updates this content, it will automatically update here. Some people really like this because that means that you don't have to be in charge of updating your book. OpenStax will do it. At the same time, other people are like, you know what? I really want to be 100% in charge of my work. I really want to edit this. If that's the case, hit cancel, okay? And instead of hitting edit, you're going to go to the title and you're going to look for this really odd little merge symbol. They call it the forking symbol, F-O-R-K-I-N-G, forking. When you click that fork button, it's going to bring up something that says OK, and you hit OK, and then you have to hit OK a second time. It'll reload the page, and you watch that little fork disappear, all right? Now, if you go to the dark gray panel and you hit edit, you can edit all of this content. It is yours to edit. Now, some of you might say, well, Rachel, this is somebody else's content. Isn't that plagiarism? No, it is not. This is a Creative Commons licensed textbook. What that means is you can do anything you want to it as long as you give credit to the original author. Libretexts handles all of that for you. This will do attributions at the paragraph level. That means if you just change just one typo, it stays for attributing to the original person. If you put in original content in here, even just a single paragraph, that is now going to be attributed to you, okay? Now, I always tell everybody the same thing. Right up here in this tiny little bar, lots and lots of fun things very similar to a Word document. Now, it's kind of like Microsoft 97. If you forget to save, it will try really hard to save versions for you, but it struggles. So I always recommend saving if you want to save, okay? And then what will happen is down at the bottom, you will see a toggle block level attributions once it's published. You can click on that and it will show all the highlighted area that's been brought in, and it will show your area as not highlighted. It's very, very helpful to help understand. And then once you publish the book, it can have your name at the top and OpenStax will appear down at the bottom. So that is how you edit content, all right? Again, if you're going through each page of the book, we brought in an entire book. You're just going to have to go through every page. And some pages you might be like, you know what, OpenStax does a good job. I don't need to fork it. It's fine. I'm going to leave it alone. Others might say, you know what, I still don't like the way that they talk about this. I want to add in some other images. I want to tweak it a little bit. I want some more interactive stuff. You're welcome to do that. Every time, every page, you're just going to have to hit the fork button, hit OK, and hit OK again. And then in the dark gray panel up here at the top, you will hit Edit, and you will have access to edit the content. Make sure you hit Save in the light blue panel. All right, so that is how we edit content. So we pulled in from our book, which you can see the full book right up here. Workbench, that means nobody but you and the people on your project can see it. This is the title of your book. This is the chapter. This is the page. So you can always follow the book back and forth in the light blue panel. You can also click on these little arrows on either side to be able to also navigate back and forth. So if we go back to our main book, all right, you can always change the images. You can edit content however you want. But say you're like, well, Rachel, how do I just add blank content in? I have some really great content. How do I do that? How do I add blank pages in so that I can put in my own content on top of the other content? Again, I'm going to remind you, please don't author books from scratch. There really isn't any reason to do that anymore. And especially when you can use all the images and all the alt text and all the stuff that's been built out and make it better with your subject expertise and then add to it. But if you have specific sections that you want to completely rewrite, that you want to completely redo, okay, the conductor page is always going to bring you back here. This is your home. This is where you're going to go to get to all the things. You ever get lost? Go to the rocket, go to conductor. This is your book's landing page. It's your project page. All right, we're going to go back to the remixer and say just within one of the chapters, okay, this first chapter, the Americas, you have a different take on something that you feel it's missing something, okay, you can add in a page. It's a blank page, and you're going to call it Rachel's Take, okay? And I even spelled my name with an extra A in it, okay? So you hit Save Edits. Now you see that we have these two blank ones in here. See how they're green? That means that they've been added, but they haven't been published yet. If it's black, that means that it's already published. If you're like, you know what, I don't want an About Book page, and you hit this trash button, see how it turned red? That means you're going to delete it, but right now it's still published. So if we hit Save to Server again, you watch it go, you twiddle your thumbs, you do some meditation, and once it's all done, again, you could always go back to revise it to do more remixing, or click here to go to your text again. Now, once your text loads, you're going to go back into the chapter, and this time, oh, look, here's my blank page right after the last page. So I can click on it, and here I have nothing. It's just a blank page. Same process. You go up to Edit in the dark gray panel, and now it's very similar to a Word document. Okay? You now have the ability to just copy and paste content in, and it's not going to hurt you. You can copy paste content in. You can go to Format. One of my favorite things is the boxes. I strongly recommend if you are building anything from scratch, use the boxes. It chunks content really, really well. This red little line right here will help you click down to the next one. They have learning objectives, which I strongly recommend you put at the top of at least the chapters. All right. They have, if you have definitions, they have a really great definitions box. Okay. And that can be very, very helpful. They also have some really great templates. So you can go up to Format. You can go down to Style, and you can find templates, look through those. And then they also have tables, which can be very, very helpful when you're trying to make sure your content is organized. Also, I have found that many AI, if you want to put things in tables, some AI will build you a table that actually can be copy and pasted very easily into one of these kinds of things. It works really great. Now, if you happen to be an HTML person, you can always go over here on the right-hand side to the HTML, because that's basically what you're building on the side without having to know any HTML. You can modify it if you want for certain things. We don't recommend it, but if you're good at HTML and you want to do that, go for it. And you can just click it off, and it comes back here. If you are a math or STEM person, you will see sometimes the equations. They're going to look a little wonky when you're here. because they're done in MathJax or LaTeX, which allows us, when we save it, to see it and see it as an accessible equation. So from start to finish, the way you get to it, always go to the conductor page, open project link. You will have to sign in and then relaunch it by going up here, relaunch it to see your book. When you want to remix, go to the OER remixer. I recommend you pick a base book. Just pick one that you say fits 50 to 80% of the content. OpenStax is often what people do, but some people, they prefer to really go in. Say you know someone who teaches at one of these other colleges and you're like, you know what, I know for a fact, I used to work at Coalinga College, right? And so you're like, you know what, I happen to know that this person right here, they did a super solid book. It's not super big. I know that it's going to be succinct. Maybe you just want part of their book in here, right? You can pull the entire part in, but you can just also pull in sections. You could pull in a single page. You can also click out to it to go look at it. And it's going to open it in a new tab. And you can be like, oh, this is actually multiple things. Maybe you just click on evaluating sources and you go, you know what? Oh, yeah, this is, I mean, it's a lot of text. Maybe I'll have to add in an image, but I like this content, right? You can go back here and say, okay, just the evaluation section, I'm going to click and drag it over, right? And put it wherever you want. And it's a click and drag. And be careful when you click and drag. Here it's going to go in between and make a new chapter. Here it's going to become a page in a chapter. It's real minute movements. So think about where you want it, click and drag, and see how it's green now. You've just pulled that over. So some people will do a lot of browsing once you have your base book. They'll go in and they'll say, you know what, let's just go to, whatever library you're in up here at the top. So say we go to engineering, right? And then you just want to browse through. You just want to go to the data sciences and you're like, let's just see what this crystal ball one is, because that seems kind of odd. Maybe there's something in that I think would be very cool. And then you might open something up and be like, oh, wow, this is massive. And then you might have an entire new book that you want to grab in, or a couple sections you want to grab in. You can always go out and look at them and say, oh, this is actually really cool, right? I switched from humanities to STEM. But regardless, that's a way that you can do this. You can click and drag them in. What I don't recommend you do is drag in multiple books. That's going to be way too big. You'll never be able to slog through it. It's easier to slog through one page and click it over and then have to come back and add in another page than it is to try to bring in two books and think you're going to be able to weed it out. That's much harder to do. Once you've pulled from a couple different sources, say you don't want engineering anymore, you want to go to a different library, you want to add in something that's a little bit more cross-disciplinary, you go back to humanities, maybe you need to add in something about literature and legacy. I know that for a lot of the humanities, we have a lot of readers that are really important, and there's a lot of public domain and classic content. So a lot of people will go to classics and they'll build massive readers using Libretexts for students to be able to have lots and lots of things that they can read from. And there's tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of content in here. So this is just the Iliad, right? So maybe you want the entire Iliad. Maybe you want to build a reader that just has just book 3 of the Iliad for them to read. Once you pull over, so say we want just book 3 of the Iliad, and we're going to put that in this one. Okay, you hit save to server again. All right, watch it go, and your new text will be available here. Now again, nobody but you can see this until you publish it. Publishing it is a separate video. I'm not going to go through that right now. You can also change all of the images up on these icons. That will be another video as well. But you can always go in here and just start editing. What this really does is allows you to modify content that already exists and make it better. Add in images without having to author from scratch, which takes a ton of time. When this happens, just remember, hit the fork button, hit OK again. The content will load, and you will be able to edit this content, okay? Just hit the new version, and ta-da! Now you can edit all this content. And just looking at it from a usability perspective, what's missing from book 3 of the Iliad? Personally, I'd want images in here, right? Or maybe I'd want something about how to annotate classic writing. So I'd want to put in an image here of basically how to annotate this kind of work, or how to print it and annotate it. That might be something that I'd want to do if I was teaching reading related to, classic literature. So that is how that works. Once you're done, you can come back here from your conductor page. Always go to the rocket if you get confused. Last thing, You have a couple really great options here on this. Your support tickets, you can always ask for help. The support center right up here will also help give you options on how you can talk to them. They have all kinds of great ways that you can talk to them, and they also have office hours. Easiest way to do office hours is just Libretext office hours. And it'll come up. It's every Thursday, and it has a link. So you just click on the Contact Us link, and it's right here. You click on that, they show up every Thursday at 9 a.m. and you can ask your questions. It is first come, first serve. So certain times of the semester when everybody's trying to do something last minute, it may be a lot of people. I went last week and it was totally fine. So that is in a nutshell how to bring in content with Libretext, bring in new content with Libretext, and then if you need to publish, that's a separate video. And good luck, y'all.